Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be giving you my Libra 2022 horoscope forecast. Yes, it does apply and pertain to the Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. Anyway, first up is during the 2022, transit Jupiter will be in Pisces and Aries. During the time that it's in Pisces for Libra, the sixth house is what's going to be emphasized and highlighted, and this can manifest in a number of ways. Jupiter is fortuitous; it's a planet of luck and fortune, so it can be fortuitous for Libra, or it could be for a Pisces employment, Pisces-related employment. It could be such as something with poetry, dancing, photography, the metaphysical, which includes astrology, can be some with anesthesiology. It might be, something with fantasy, such as like reading fantasy games, as some examples. But and the thing too is, it could also, remember that I've stated in previous videos, and I'll say it again, that Jupiter is very paradoxical, could be very strongly benign and benevolent, but it could also have a tendency to enlarge and expand. In some cases, it may enlarge and expand Pisces health-related issues, and it could be something with the feet, the toes, the lymphatic or immune system. It might be something to at this time for Libra. Jupiter, the planet itself, is associated with the liver, with the pancreas, hips, sciatic nerve, and obesity. So Libra needs to be careful as far as that goes during this time of the transit. And another thing too is that Jupiter, it's interesting because Jupiter is about the truth and veracity, and Pisces is deception, duplicity. It might be a time where you may be finding out more things that are true about deception, duplicity. It could be with people in your daily routine. It could be an aunt or an uncle. It may even be people at your place of employment. And it also could be where you're showing a lot of Jupiter's about exuberance and enthusiasm. So you may be showing more exuberance and enthusiasm. And really, as far as maybe sacrificing for others in the daily routine or providing a service. You could be providing something with a service with the metaphysical as an example, which includes astrology or photography. The thing about this too is could also enlarge forgiveness. People in your daily routine, an aunt or an uncle, people that are might be at your place of employment, and it might also enlarge compassion and empathy for pets if you do have them. So, and also Jupiter will be in Aries, and Jupiter is going to be in Aries for part of 2022. So for Libra, the seventh house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. And during this time for Libra, well, it could be fortuitous. It could be for some, Aries, related to, partnership, like a business partnership. There's something with speech pathology, or maybe, firefighting wouldn't be really best example, but something with welding or carpentry. It may be some, you could also be at this time very fortuitous and lucky and prosperous for even you could say a marriage with a significant other. And Jupiter and Aries can be lucky when being assertive and aggressive and taking the initiative. Libra naturally, since the seventh house is in the solar natal chart, Aries falls on the seventh house cusp, of course, for Libra. So even though Libra tends to be, I don't say passive, but they're more gentle and docile, and they're not known to be overly aggressive, more about peace and tranquility. But for Libra, Aries falls on the seventh house cusp in the solar natal chart for them. So that's the area or sector in life where Libra will express more aggression, and it can be more being lucky and fortuitous for taking the initiative, having enterprise in relationship matters, and it could be something as far as marriage goes at this time. And Jupiter is also about things that are far, and you may If you're unattached Libra, it's possible you may marry a foreigner, during this time, or somebody that's from another country, or something could happen if you do travel abroad and you meet somebody. You actually marry in a foreign country. Those are some ways that this could manifest and pan out. And again, as I've stated before, that Jupiter is paradoxical. It can enlarge. It's not just about luck and fortune. It could also have a tendency to enlarge and expand. In some cases, this may enlarge and expand contentious, even acrimonious situations with a marriage partner or a significant other, or even an open adversary. Seventh house is also connected with lawsuits, legalities, legal issues. So it may also enlarge and expand contentious legal situations, or it could be something over fire, or maybe a violent or volatile action, since we're talking about Aries. So those are some ways that this transit may manifest for Libra. But anyway, well, the next thing I want to get to is Saturn. Saturn is going to be in Aquarius during 2022. So for Libra, the fifth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, Libra might find maybe doing some kind of maybe work that could be Aquarius related, and might find it enjoyable. Might even be done with a child or a lover. And again, something Aquarius related. It could be something with astronomy or astrology, meteorology, aviation, something maybe as well, something with astronomy or computers or electronics as some examples. Or it might be a hobby for Libra, and it's something that Libra might work laboriously at. It might require some laborious effort, if you're trying to learn something, say, in the process. But the thing is, nonetheless, at the same time, there might be, Saturn is about restrictions and limitations. So you may experience some restrictions and limitations in matters of the heart with children at this time, more sorrow and despondency connected with that. And the fact that Saturn is in Aquarius, it might be due to people being overly aloof or detached, and not really expressing an overabundance of emotion. But it could also be about gaining structure and discipline in fifth house related matters, and with children, with lovers, and even in matters with your own fun, your amusement and enjoyment at this time. You might be doing something where you might be more consistent in terms of investments, and it can be something associated with Aquarius. Again, it could be something connected with astronomy, as some examples, or if there's something connected with aviation or airplanes, if there's some stock that may be associated with that, or something with an astronomical company or an aviation corporation, as some examples at this time. And Saturn is also connected with older people and the fathers, so these people might figure more prominently in your enjoyment and your hobbies at this point in time, more so than usual. On a real positive end, the fact that Saturn is about restriction and limitation, it might restrict and limit you in terms of things associated with gambling. If you are somebody that is very say exuberant gambler, or somebody that gambles frequently, it may limit that, and that actually may not be such a bad thing at this point in time. And the thing about the transit of Saturn and Aquarius in general, I would say could manifest in having feeling, it could be some fear as far as society goes. And it's interesting that it's coinciding with this COVID, and now we got the variant going on, and there might be a proliferation of these of COVID cases now because of it. Saturn and Aquarius, again, the transit by itself may manifest in one really feeling somewhat restricted by society. But the thing about it is the fact that the fifth house is what's emphasized and highlighted for Libra in this example can indicate that alone might really impact one's fun, one's enjoyment, amusement, more so than a lot of other people, because you are talking about the fifth house being emphasized and highlighted for Libra. Now, anyway, next thing I'm going to talk about As far as the Uranus in Taurus transit goes, hold on a moment, people. Well, as far as the, sorry about that, I'm back. But anyway, as far as the Uranus and Taurus transit goes for Libra, well, the eighth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, for Libra, there might be, I mean, Uranus is very unpredictable energy. It might be something, unexpected or surprising happens. It may be in connection with the death of somebody prominent in your life. It could be, maybe it could be somebody you're in an intimate connection with. Uranus and Taurus by itself may indicate more instability and fluctuation in finances. The fact it's in your eighth house is what's being emphasized and highlighted for Libra. Maybe this is expressed in how it could impact the shared resources situation. And there might be a time where there could also be some interest in unusual or unorthodox, sexual views at this time. And the thing about this as well, friendships. Uranus is about friendships. Being in Taurus, it could be ones that are very loyal, stable, and persistent. And being in the eighth house, they may be more apt at this time for Libra for moral support, moral, emotional, and monetary support at this point in time. But the fact that you're talking about Uranus in general is instability, so you may also experience instability right now in terms of the support that you get from others, and you do a lot of fluctuation with it at this point in time. Now, the thing is too, the eighth house is also associated with surgery. So it could also be a time where there might be some surgery that could be something Uranus related, such as something with the ankles, the shins, the calves, the lower legs, or the nerves, something with circulation. Or it could be something that comes up very spontaneously, which is Uranus unexpectedly. That could be Taurus related, something with the throat, the neck, or the thyroid. Then that might require surgery at this point in time. And also friendships that can be very loyal, stable, persistent, steadfast. They might play a role in you making a major transformation in your life, or it could even be maybe beneficial in some kind of crisis situation. If any crisis situations arise, they might come very unexpectedly and unpredictably at this point in time. So those are some ways that this transit, as far as Uranus being in Taurus, and again the eighth house being emphasized and highlighted for Libra. Now, some of you Librans, if you have a late, like say for example, a late Libra rising degree, you might you'd be having, a lot of you be having the transit of Uranus being in Taurus, being in the seventh house, at least for a good part of the year. And the thing about that is that could be an indicator of marrying somebody. It could be from another country. It could be somebody you might emphasize internet connections more during this time. Maybe something happens with Uranus business partnerships, such as something with astrology or astronomy, or something with computers or innovation or electronics. And the fact it's in Taurus could be one that's very stable and reliable. And the thing is too, anyway, I'm going to get the next thing I'm going to talk about is as far as Neptune goes. Well, Neptune's going to be in Pisces during 2022. So the sixth house is what's going to be emphasized and highlighted for Libra. So, I mean, this can manifest in a number of ways for Libra. You might, sometimes this could indicate, it could be the dissolving or dissipation of, could be of your physical health. It could be of a connection with an aunt or an uncle. It might also be a time where you have to be careful, because Neptune often will gloss over the details of things, and Neptune can make things nebulous and unclear. And the people that are in your daily routine, or it could be an aunt or an uncle, or people that are prominent in your employment, these people might not really, there might be something with them that you're still not unsure of, that they're a little bit, vague, they're a little bit nebulous. You feel there's more about them maybe than meets the eye, and you're just trying to, you really don't, you might not understand also the motives and intentions of them. You might be trying to decipher that and have difficulty in doing so at this time. But it could also manifest in something Neptune related. That's physical issue associated with Neptune. It could be something with the feet, or the toes, or the lymphatic or immune system. It could be general lethargy or weakness at this time. And another thing is that on the positive end, it could be a time where you might express more compassion, forgiveness, and altruism, or self-sacrifice in the daily routine at your place of employment, even with pets as well. And the thing too is that be careful too, Libra, because Neptune is many of you may know. I say that again. Many of you may know is associated with drugs and alcohol, and something. If those of you out there are at least like a regular drinker, or even if you're a casual sociable drinker, just be careful about escalation with that at this time, because there could be more. You might be more inclined toward there might be greater propensity for more alcohol in the daily routine. Because the sixth house is the daily routine. Again, Neptune is associated with alcohol and drugs. And the thing about this is as well is that there might be some confusion, or where as far as what you want to do in your work life, if you're in a situation that you're unsure of at your place of employment, maybe there's some conditions there that you're not sure of at this time. It could be something where maybe it's not overly stable, and you're not really sure what's going on in terms of how long you're going to be there or not. So again, Neptune can be about confusion, and it's things that are very confounding. It might also be where you might be more susceptible to some kind of distractions at this time in your daily routine, or maybe it has to do with an aunt or an uncle at this time as well. And I mean, these are some things that, as far as Neptune and Pisces and the sixth house being emphasized and highlighted for Libra, these are some of the ways that this might be expressed at this time. And anyway, well, the last thing I'm going to get at is Pluto. And Pluto is going to be in Capricorn for the entirety of 2022. So for Libra, the fourth house is what we emphasized and highlighted. Now, this is another thing, of course, could manifest in a number of ways. It could be, you might be involved in a transformation, or it could be the obliteration of a home life. It could be where maybe you might decide to move, and it might be to a place that's completely, could be far away from where you currently reside at. It could be you might experience the death of the less dominant parent, which is often mother or a prominent home or family member at this time. You might be dealing with power struggles that are with people that are in your home, your family. The less dominant parent, often the mothers, people that you're simply close to home with. And you may put a lot of passion and desire, a lot of passionate energy perhaps into preparing for the latter part of your life. If you're not currently in it, you might be preparing for it at this time. And you may be, again, you might be putting a lot of passionate energy into it. Pluto is about passion, and you might be more investigative at this time in terms of finding out more about your roots and your ancestry. You may emphasize at this time like Plutonian type traditions. It could be, something with the occult, which includes astrology or recycling, or something that involves some kind of transformation. It may be, it may be something where, at this time as well, this could be, a time where you might be there might be jealousy associated with other family members at this point in time. And the thing about, this transit too, again, can be about something with the transformation. Of your home, your family life at this time, you might be involved in more, renovation or remodeling of the home. And the thing is too, this can be, you have to be guard against. Pluto is connected with obsession and fixation. So, guard against becoming overly fixated or obsessed, like with someone you feel close to home with. It might be, some might be a family member, and maybe it is just matters connected with the home in general. And the thing, and really there's not much more for me to, get at, as far as this transit goes, at this time. But anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.